Hello, welcome to another episode of Bot and Back, and today we are doing a transformation for Craftsman Toys Steeldrill, also known as Nosecone. That is his original G1 name from the Transformers cartoon. He was part of the Technobots, my favorite combining team. I did two other figures that Craftsman Toys brought out, Scattershot and Afterburner. And I thought I would go back and do a transformation for this guy, because I owned him before I even did this channel. So, without further ado, let's get started with his transformation. So this is him. He comes with accessories. He has his pistol right here, and he has these two weapons, these two cannons. And you can do a lot of stuff with these, actually. You can fold that handle out there, and you can put that in his hand, and he can hold it like a weapon. The neat thing I like to do is underneath his arm is this tab, and you can put this weapon, under his arm, and then you kind of have this double blaster. I think that's really cool. So you can do that. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can also put both cannons under his arms. The thing, I think maybe my very favorite thing, is there's two slots underneath of the weapons, and there's these tabs on top of the shoulders. So I like to put those on there. And I think it looks pretty cool like that. Let's put that on there. There we go. I think that's cool. I like that. And he's having all his weapons there. The only thing I don't like about his articulation is he has the hot rod shoulders where, like, you have to, this is the only way that you can lift his arm up. And once you do that, once you start turning his arm this way, it will not go out like that. It's just stuck like this. It's the only thing I have a problem with. If you want to bring the arm out that way, it has to be all the way down. If you start bringing it up, it will not come out. So that's a little frustrating. He also comes with basically the combiner foot. That's what this is. It's the combiner foot. But at least they tried to make it look kind of like a weapon. And you can also take the gun and put it here. So, he has this little weapon that he can walk, like, it looks like a droid or something. This will also combine even more with the other parts, because Scattershot, the leader, he comes with there's a whole separate upper torso, the upper legs and the bottom torso. That's just a piece. This is the very opposite of what I liked about the Mecha Invasion Constructicons, that everything's built in. There's no parts forming. There's lots of parts forming with this, especially for combine mode, specifically for combine mode. I don't see any of that in the actual transformation of the individual robots, but that torso piece does kind of help turn into a gun emplacement, and the 2 feet also combine. So it kind of does something at least. It doesn't just hang around. So that's cool. So anyway, let's put this to the side, and let's start his transformation. So he's going to be 3 different things. We're going to first take him into his drill mode, and then he will turn into the leg. So the first thing that we want to do, let's do the arms. So let's take his fist, and we're going to turn it this way. And then let's pull this tread up, and we're going to turn it around. And then we're actually going to turn this whole thing around like that. We're going to bring this down, and this is going to connect and meet there. And then we fold this whole thing in, and this will tab into that. Same thing for the other side. Turn the fist, like so. And then untab this. Turn the forearm around. Bring this up and connect. And then we just bring this up like that. Oh, I forgot to turn that around. You want to turn that around, and it tabs in. And then take his arms, and you want to push them down. It doesn't really click, but you move them down. They're up, and then they're down. It's very subtle. So we do that, and now let's untab this part here, and we're going to pull this piece out, and this whole thing comes out. So we're going to let's first take the nose cone. Actually, we're going to fold this out of the way, and we can actually bring this down just to get everything out of the way. And so, before we do that, let's turn his head around 180 so it's facing the other way. So let's bring all of this up, and when you do bring it up, you want to fold this on this double hinge in like that. So now we can bring all of this up. You know, I'm going to take this off. You don't have to for the transformation, but it'll be easier for you guys to see. So I'm going to just take that nose cone off. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you. This nose cone also will go on over his hand, so it looks like he has a drill hand. I can show you that at the end, if I remember. So anyway, so we start folding this all in. And then we want to bring this up. And we're just going to let him kind of hang out there for now. But I believe that is where we want to have that. So now let's bring these back down. Let's put the drill back on. So bring this bit down, and bring the nose cone down, and then just bring it in and tabs in to that other piece there. So we got our nose cone. So we're getting there. So let's now take the legs, bring this down, fold out that panel, then we bring the whole thing down like that, and we bring this out, and then we can just fold this back up again like it was. We want to keep this out though. So I'll show you again here. Bring this down, bring this panel up, bring the whole thing folded that way, and bring this out, and then fold it back in. Now the next thing we want to do is, now we can push these together. There's like a little place that can tab in. We can push these together like that. The thing is, when we do transform them, they tend to untab while you're doing it. So we can just tab it in again later once we put it. You'll see what I mean. Maybe it'll stay together this time. So I'm gonna move these down out of the way, both sides. And you want to kind of bring the upper legs down a little bit when you bend this in. You basically want to make it so that this tab down here will clear his lower crotch area. And let's bring this out of the way a little more. So these tabs on the end are going to go into these slots here, like so. That's one. And oh, look at that, they actually legs stayed together. And then this is the second one here that tabs in, and yeah, there we go. That's how it should actually be. And then we want to take his feet and turn them around like so. Turn both of them around. Let's do this before I forget too. Let's bring these up. Now you can push these down. I feel like I'd rather have them going straight out, because that's what jets would do. They'd be facing that way, so that's what I like to do. Next, there's these two tabs here and one on the other side, and they go into these two slots here. There we go. And that's how that should look. We're almost there. So the last thing we're going to do is bring these up and try to pull this out a little bit, and then they connect like that. Same thing for the other side. You have to finagle a little bit to get them to connect how they need to connect. So there we have him in his alt mode, and I think he is really cool looking. So what you can do, the final thing you can do for accessories, is there's those slots I showed you before. Those go on, well, they can go on either tab, whichever one you want. It can go on that tab or that tab. I like to have them farther back and on that tab. like so. Just like that. And he looks really cool. In fact, what I really like about him, let me grab something real quick. I'll be right back. We're gonna do a quick comparison. Okay, it took me way longer than I thought it would take to find everything, but there he is. There's Nosecone, the original. And you know what? They really nailed the colors. It's a little more orange on the original G1 figure, but wow, they just really nailed the look of him, and I'm so impressed. So I can combine him with the robot when we turn him back to the robot again. But anyway, so that's that. Let's transform him into the leg mode now. All right, we actually want to keep the weapons on him. They might pop up. They're not the most secure attachments, but anyway, let's put these up like that. And then next we want to I'm going to bring this out of the way like so. Both of these. Now we want to untab this, and it's a little tricky to do unless you turn these feet. I want to turn the feet that way. It just makes it easier for you to get your finger in there and pop this off. So there we go. Now that's off. Let's pull it, and it's going to turn all the way around, and we want to unhinge that double hinge. I'm going to bring this down. We want to fold this in. Actually, no, we don't. I am sorry. I apologize. We just want to keep it like that. So we're going to bring this down. Let's look at the head here. We want to turn the head 180 again. And we're going to keep bringing everything over. We want this to be straight up. So we're going to push his head. We're going to push his head down. And this is going to come all the way up. You want to push it so this is going to combine to the rest of the robot later, to the upper leg. So this actually just sticks out like that a little bit, and you'll see why in a second. Let me lift it up a little bit. I forgot to pull this piece out. That goes straight out, and let's bring this down like that. And then let's just close this. You can make these feet however you want. I've seen different people do it different ways. I kind of like it actually like that for the leg mode. So that is it for him. The next thing we want to do is we're going to grab the this little weapon emplacement. We can actually leave the gun. Wow, we can. Hello, Mr. Simpson. We can actually leave this here. And what we're going to do is let's bring the toe down, and we're just going to lift this whole thing up and leave that like this. So this part here is going to plug into that slot. That's why you open that up. And then this is just going to go flat against this part here. The main connection is that this is going to slot into here. So that's all you got to do is just slot that in there and just push it together like so. And then this just kind of pushes against that. But there we go. We have our leg, and I think it looks pretty darn cool. And what's really nice is you have your ankle tilt there. Very nice ankle tilt, and it also turns like that. The toe will go like that, and also the back, there's a little bit of wiggle on the heel as well. So I think that's great. And I'm actually going to be able to combine this with the figures I just got today. So I'm excited to show you guys that next. Not in this video, obviously. But anyway, that's him. I think he is so cool. I love him. I love him dearly. So let's put him back into his vehicle mode. So we're just going to pull him back out. Pretty easy. Let's push this toe up, and we'll just bring this down. That snaps in, and we have our little, whatever he is, little droid weapons thing. And now to bring him back into his Nosecone drill mode, let's push that to the side. We're going to push this back in. Let's bring these two afterburners back. Well, let's pull these two afterburners back out. Now we're going to take this and pull it up. Pull this up, and then, oh, sorry, I forget to do this every time. We're going to pull his head out, and we're going to turn it 180, like so. We're going to bring this whole thing up, and like we did when we first transformed him from robot mode to alt mode, we want to double hinge that back in, and we're going to bring this up. Let's lift it up a little bit. Actually, let's just get it out of the way for now. Like last time. Let's get that out of the way. We're going to bring these down and bring the Nosecone in like that. There we go. Let's get these guys in this direction so it's kind of easier to close this. And just like before, those tabs go into those slots. So we'll just do that. And then we can just turn these in whatever direction you like. I think this is how I believe it should be. And there we go. We are back in his vehicle mode. And he does have wheels on the bottom too, so that's cool. Because sometimes anything that has treads for a transformer, sometimes they don't have any wheels at all and they just slide. Which I kind of don't care, but I think it's nice they included it. So let's bring him back into his robot mode. Let's remove the weapons. And first we're going to, once again, let's move these to the side. Makes it easier to untab this part here. It's supposed to make it easier. Come on. There we go. So we're just going to get that out of the way and pull it out. Push these up, and these go down. And now let's bring these down. You want to pull these like this. You want to pull these this way. Like you just try to pull it out of the way when you bring this down. So there we go. Now let's untab these. Come on, baby. Untap, thank you. Yeah, see, it just, the legs came apart as we were doing that. But that's fine, because we want them to be apart anyway. So let's bring the legs out. Like so. Now let's bring this down. And fold the tread in. Bring it back up. Close this panel and bring this up. Same thing for the other side. Just down, fold the tread in, bring it back up, fold the panel, bring that up. And that's his legs done. We just need to turn his feet so he can walk like a regular, I was going to say human being, but he's not a human being, he is a robot. So next, let's push this out of the way. Let's move it back. Move both of these back. We're going to push this down, bring this in, unhinge this. Now we want to fold this in all the way. Let's turn his head around, and then just move this down. Or sorry, his arms are casting a shadow there. Move this down until you place it there. Up, move his head up. We want and just push that in, and something seems. Oh, the problem was I had to push this back a little bit. This pushes down, and then this pushes down, and then his head is where we want it to be now. So let's move the arms down, and we're going to push them back up, like so. And now we want to untab here, bring this around, turn this around. Okay, we're gonna turn this more this way. So now we can turn the forearm, tab this in, and we're gonna turn the fist where it needs to be. And then we turn that, and then we have one of the arms done. Same thing for the other side. Untab this a little bit. Oh, I'm doing it on the wrong side. Untab that, there. Turn this around. Let's bring this up. Let's turn this around here. Bring this in. This is going to tab into the back of the forearm. Just turn his hand there. And then the very last thing we want to do is just connect this like that. And there we have. I always call these guys by their actual Transformer names and forget to call them their third-party names. His third-party name is Steeldrill. Anyway, so there we go. He's back in robot mode. I'm going to show you the thing I forgot to show you before. You can pull this right off, and it will go over his hand like that. And I think that looks really cool too. It's all armed up. You can really put all of his armament on. You can put this gun in the other hand, and then you can put these suckers on his shoulders like that. Back so you can see. I think that's really cool. I love it. I love this guy. Really impressed by this new company, Craftsman Toys. I can't wait to see what they do next. Oh, and let's show you a comparison of the original Nosecone from G1. I'm just going to transform it right here because it's really not going to take very long. Remember when Transformers were this easy to transform? Just a few steps and we're done. Ugh. There we go. And where's his gun? This is not an original G1, by the way. This is a fourth-party knockoff, and it's not perfect. But I am so sorry that I sold the original ones, and I was so sad, and so I was so happy that someone made a knockoff kit. So they're not perfect, but it's all I needed to have some nostalgia. So look at that. I just think the colors go well together. They just did such a nice job of updating this guy for our current times. So anyway, that's him. I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed him. What's your favorite combiner team? Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.